Let's be honest about something. In today's world, emotions have been, let's say, forbidden. Society has built like a trend around being unbothered. You should feel good, you should look good, you should act good, you should feel your soul and your energy good. Because if you show your true self, how you truly feel inside, people call you dramatic, people call you sensitive, and even unstable. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of High Soul Podcast. So, in today's episode, we'll talk about how expressing your emotions is actually and definitely not a weakness. Men have been told that showing their emotions is actually equal to weakness, and women are told that showing emotions means they're losing control. But do you want to know what's happening here? We've built a world where people are afraid to show and to speak from their inner self. A world where the only acceptable emotion is to feel okay and to be absolutely fine with everything going on in your life, even though it's absolutely not. And that's the problem here because nowadays, if you want to fit somewhere, you have to pretend that you're fine, that your life is perfectly very well going. But when you hide what you truly feel, you don't only silence your emotions, you're actually silencing your truth. You're starting to wear a mask. You're smiling when you're hurting. You're saying, I'm perfectly fine, when deep inside you know that your soul is screaming for help. And the more you're doing this, the harder it becomes to even recognize what you truly feel and what are the real emotions in yourself. You're starting to even lose connection to yourself and to others too. And that's why communication feels so difficult nowadays. It's not because of the phones. No, it's not about this. It's because people no longer speak from their hearts. They speak from fear. They have fear of being judged. They have fear of being misunderstood. And they even have fear of seeing who they truly are. But the actual truth here is that expressing your emotions isn't weakness, it's actually authenticity. It's just saying, this is how I feel right now, and I can do absolutely nothing about it. Not to seek validations, but to honor what's real, because emotions are not something you should be ashamed of. These are actually proof that you're alive and that you're human and that you are who you truly are. And society wants from us to be robotic, to be emotionless, and even to be cold just because it's easy to manipulate us and to control us. That's it. But God didn't create you this way. God didn't create you to be emotionless. He created you to feel. He created you to love deeply, to cry when you something hurts and when you're hurt inside, and to forgive, to hope, and to rise again. Emotions are how your soul actually speaks. When you feel anger, it's a message. When you feel sadness, it's a release. And when you feel joy, it's just a pure alignment. Absolutely every emotion has its own purpose, and suppressing them don't make you stronger, it just makes you quieter. But God doesn't heal what you hide. God heals what you feel. Back then I used to hold everything in myself. I didn't want to be too emotional. I thought strength meant silence, and there were people who actually showed me this example, and they just tried to brainwash me, let's say, to being like this, until one day I realized that silence was breaking me more than the pain I ever went through. So that day I just allowed to myself to cry, to speak, and to say I'm perfectly not okay with this, because that was the day I actually started to heal. But something else happened too. When I started being open about my emotions and to be honest and vulnerable about them, it made people uncomfortable. It made them uncomfortable in my presence. My vulnerability annoyed them, and my honesty triggered them. And for a long time I used to wonder why is it happening to me. But then I realized that people aren't really bothered by the truth you're telling them or you're showing them. They're actually bothered by the fact that you have courage to express it and you have the courage to speak about it. Because we live in a world where authenticity scares people, because most of them don't have the strength to be real to them, to even to themselves. What about us? I mean, we're only talking about themselves right now. And that's why in today's world, people get annoyed by your success, by your confidence, and by your openness and speaking, not because you did something wrong to them, but just because you remind them of what's possible here in this on this planet and in this world. They hate the reflection you hold up to them because deep down they know they're not living their truth. They know that they're not living in abundance. So instead of celebrating you, they project their fears onto you. They're starting to call it too much. They spread rumors about you. They leave hate comments under your videos and whatever you are doing, not because you're wrong, but because they're afraid of your power and afraid of you, what you can do. And deep down, not only they're afraid of you, but they're afraid of their own voice. They're afraid to feel, they're afraid to be seen. And that's why expressing your emotion actually takes courage. Because being real in a world that is all fake will always look absolutely ridiculous and ridiculous. And that's actually why you should keep doing it, because your vulnerability isn't your weakness, it's actually your strength. It's what heals you inside. And it's what inspires others to heal too. The world doesn't need more perfect person, it needs more real ones. So cry when you need to, speak when you need to, scream when you need to, and even laugh when you need to. Don't shrink your emotions to make others feel comfortable around you. Because your authenticity isn't the problem, it's the cure. And that brings me to the next lesson, because one of the biggest reasons people suppress who they are is because they care too much about what other people think about them. And actually, the moment you stop living for their approval is actually the moment you start living for your peace. And that is actually where your real power begins. See you in the next lesson, where we will explore why you shouldn't care about what other people think about you.